The warning klaxons shriek. Not a drill, not a simulation, but a raw, tearing sound that rips through the time to peregrine, not a timed dex bridge. Your stomach lurches, not from 0G, but from the sudden, violent shuddering of the hull. Sparks spray from a ruptured conduit overhead, raining down like angry, dying stars. A metallic tang fills your mouth, the taste of adrenaline and pure, unadulterated terror. Then, a new smell slices through the acrid smoke and ozone, something damp, earthy, alien. It burrows into your sinuses, thick and cloying, like moss growing on rust, but with an undertone you can't quite place. Sweet, almost. Yet deeply, unsettlingly wrong. Impact in T-60. Brace! Captain Elena's voice is remarkably steady over the comms, but the static crackle betrays the impossible strain she's under. You jam your hands against the console in front of you, muscles locked, knuckles white. The deceleration is brutal, threatening to tear you from your harness, to pulp you against the restraints. Your vision blurs, and for a terrifying moment the bulkhead twists into a grotesque parody of itself. Everything rattles. The ship groans, a symphony of stressed alloy and failing systems. A sharp crack echoes from the deck below, then a scream that cuts off abruptly. Your heart hammers against your ribs, a frantic drumbeat against the overwhelming roar of atmosphere tearing at your failing vessel. The emergency lights flicker on, bathing the cramped bridge in a sickly crimson. Outside, through the shattered main viewport, you glimpse a blur of emerald and ochre. The planet. This door parking lot, they called it. A place humans had carved out of the void. Just one more audacious stop on the interstellar highway. Now it was trying to swallow you whole. Brace for secondary impact, Elena shouts, her voice raw with exertion. Atmospheric thrusters at 20%. We're coming in hot. You grip the armrest tighter, teeth gritted, jaw aching. The alien smell intensifies, crawling deeper into your lungs. A strange blend of soil and something else. Something that prickles your skin with an unsettling certainty. You feel it now. A low, powerful thrumming underfoot, distinct from the ship's death throes. Life, or something that felt like it. The floor drops out from under you. For a microsecond, true freefall, sickening and absolute. Then, the twunch crunch. Not a clean impact, but a prolonged, tearing sound, like a giant hand slowly, relentlessly crushing a tin can. Your head slams against the padded headrest. Stars explode behind your eyes. Your ears ring, a high-pitched whine that drowns out everything else. Air rushes out of your lungs. You fight to breathe, to think, to move. Your harness digs into your shoulders, biting deep, but it holds. Someone yells your name, but it's distant, muffled, like listening from underwater. You push against the pain, forcing your eyes open. Smoke billows. Debris hangs in the air, slowly drifting, glinting in the emergency lights. The ship is twisted, broken, but you're toll alive. You cough, tasting dust and blood, and that smell, that alien, earthy, strangely sweet, smell living, smell, it's everywhere now, seeping through every crack in the ruined hull, filling your throat, your lungs, your very being. It's the planet's breath, claiming you, demanding you acknowledge its presence. You unbuckle your harness, the cold metal searing against your fingertips. Your body aches, every joint screaming protest, every muscle protesting. But you move. You always move. Because that's what humans do when the universe tries to take them down. You inhale deeply, the alien scent, a stark, undeniable truth. This wasn't just a parking lot anymore. This was where humanity made its stand. And you had just arrived. The metallic tang in your mouth isn't just adrenaline anymore, it's blood. Your own. You cough, the movement sending a fresh jolt of pain through your chest, a dull ache blossoming into a sharp, insistent stab. A tooth feels loose. You run your tongue over it, wincing at the coppery taste, the grim reminder of the brutal impact. Around you, the air is thick, with smoke, dust, and that pervasive, sweet earth alien scent from before. Now, though, A new, sharp, almost electrical smell has joined the mix, like ozone mixed with something rotting. It's too close. Your vision finally clears, cutting through the haze of pain. The Peregrine Bendas S Bridge is a graveyard of twisted metal and sparking conduits. Captain Elena is slumped over her console, unmoving. "Captain," you rasp, your voice hoarse. No response. The silence is broken only by the crackle of a failing comms unit and a low, guttural, chittering sound, scraping against metal, just beyond the crumpled bulkhead door. Your blood runs cold. It's not the ship's death throes, it's something else. Your hand instinctively reaches for the sidearm holstered at your hip. The cold steel of the grip is a familiar comfort, a promise of defiant resistance. You pull it free, the weight a reassurance in your trembling hand. Every muscle screams in protest as you unbuckle your harness, pushing yourself off the ruined console. Your left leg buckles, a flash of white-hot agony shooting up your thigh. But you ignore it, forcing yourself upright. Your training kicks in, overriding the shock, the pain, the fear. Clear your weapon. Check your field of fire. Survive. The chittering intensifies, closer now, accompanied by a scraping, tearing sound. It sounds like something large, something hungry, trying to force its way through the wreckage. "Hold position," a frantic voice shouts over the emergency comms, barely audible over the growing din. "We have multiple hostiles breaching Deck Gamma. Repeat, hostiles breaching." Your heart pounds a frantic rhythm against your ribs. Deck Gamma. That's directly below you. And judging by the sounds, they're not just below anymore. A section of the crumpled bulkhead near the emergency hatch suddenly groans, then bursts inward with sickening force. A shower of sparks and jagged metal explodes into the bridge. From the gaping hole, a shape emerges. Chitinous, multi-limbed, with eyes that glow with malevolent predatory hunger. Its maw opens, revealing rows of needle-sharp teeth, and it lets out a shriek that rattles your very bones. This isn't just a parking lot. This is * their world. And they clearly don't appreciate the new tenants. You raise your pistol, the taste of blood in your mouth suddenly replaced by the bitter, metallic tang of pure, unadulterated resolve. This is it. Not some grand battle in orbit. Not a calculated siege. Just you, bleeding, bruised, and one angry alien monster in the flickering emergency lights. You don't think. You just amongst. The first shot cracks, loud and defiant in the ruined bridge. It wasn't about surviving politely anymore. It was about showing them just how hard humanity fought to stay alive, even when the odds were literally impossible. The low, grinding screech isn't a single impact. It's the sustained, tortured protest of metal twisting apart, a symphony of deconstruction that rattles your very teeth. Fine dust, smelling of burnt wiring and pulverized rock, coats your tongue, making every swallow an act of defiance. Your leg screams with protest as you push yourself away from the control console, dragging your pistol. The air crackles with stray energy discharges, tiny blue lightning strikes licking at exposed conduits. You can feel the ship around you, the Peregrine, slowly, methodically, being torn open like a tin can by unseen forces, or perhaps by its own internal collapse, a grim, drawn-out torture. Every groan of stressed alloy, every distant dock's boom that reverberates through the deck plating, layers into a terrifying chorus that prickles the hairs on your neck. This isn't the sharp, sudden violence of the crash anymore. This is a deliberate, agonizing unmaking. Through a gap in the ruined bulkhead, where the alien creature burst through moments ago, you see more than just the immediate wreckage. You see the sickly green sky pressing down on what was once the main cargo bay. It's not intact, not even close. Sections of the hull are peeled back like grotesque flower petals, revealing the dark, cavernous space within. That cloying, sweet earth alien smell is stronger out there, mingled now with the sharp tang of something organic and decaying, a truly unsettling combination. You stumble over a fallen support beam, pain flaring anew in your injured leg, a raw, burning agony, but you catch yourself on a twisted piece of railing. "Status, anyone?" You manage to rasp into your comms, the device barely functioning, emitting more static than coherent sound. A garbled voice crackles back, distant and frantic, barely cutting through the chaos. Alpha 6 perimeter compromised. Repeating, compromised. They're everywhere, the tunnels. The transmission cuts out with a sickening hiss, leaving only the deafening roar of the ship's continued destruction. Tunnels. What tunnels? This was supposed to be a designated landing zone, a sanctioned parking lot, not an infested alien labyrinth waiting to devour you. The ground shudders again, a deeper, more resonant thrum this time, as if the very planet itself is sighing under the weight of this destruction. A section of the ceiling above you cracks, raining down metallic shards and more dust. Your instincts scream at you, not just away from the immediate threat, but out of this death trap before it crushes you completely. You notice a flicker of emergency lighting down a precarious, half-collapsed corridor. A slim chance, but a chance nonetheless. You check your sidearm, the cold steel a constant heavy presence, a small anchor in the storm. The clip feels light. You need more ammo. You need asterisk something to keep fighting. As you hobble towards the flickering light, you hear it clearly now. A rhythmic, grinding thunk-thunk-thunk from deeper within the ship, accompanied by an eerie, high-pitched whirring. It sounds artificial, mechanical even. But nothing human should still be running after an impact like that. This isn't just an impact site. This is a systematic salvage operation, or worse, a controlled demolition. The aliens aren't just attacking. They're picking the ship apart, piece by excruciating piece. Your ship. You spot another survivor, a young technician named Anya, pinned beneath a fallen console, her face pale, eyes wide with stark terror. "Help me," she whispers, her voice barely audible over the gruesome symphony of destruction that threatens to overwhelm everything. You weigh your options. Fight the growing number of alien creatures closing in from the other side, or try to free her, risking both your lives. Your primary mission is survival, yes, but you look at her, a human face amidst the metal graveyard. The cold, damp air bites at your exposed skin. Not the stale, recycled atmosphere of the Kamenu, but the raw, unfiltered breath of this alien world, carrying that pervasive, sweet earth smell, now tinged with a sharp metallic scent of ruin and ozone. You feel the gritty, rough texture of pulverized rock and something vaguely organic against your cheek, a low hum vibrating through the ground. Your eyes flutter open, heavy with exhaustion, your muscles screaming in protest at every twitch. For a moment, all you see is a vast, oppressive expanse of mottled gray. Not the familiar blue of Earth's sky, not the black velvet sprinkled with stars, but a truly alien firmament, a featureless, brooding canvas stretching endlessly above you. The peregrine looms over you, a broken skeletal monument against that bleak sky, its fractured hull silhouetted like a jagged mountain range. Anya, her face streaked with dirt and tears, is huddled beside you, shivering. Her eyes, wide and terrified, are fixed on the wreckage, then on the distant, hazy horizon. We made it out," she whispers, her voice a thin, reedy sound against the constant, low moan of the wind. Your breath hitches. You did. You pulled her clear, pushing through the last, grinding throes of the ship's deconstruction, past the tearing metal and the alien chittering, until you found a way out. And now you're here, outside. The sight that greets you is immense, and utterly horrifyingly familiar. This isn't pristine alien wilderness. This is a graveyard, a testament to human ambition and its consequences. Wreckage. So much wreckage. Not just your ship, but countless others, stretching out into the hazy distance. The skeletal remains of cargo haulers, sleek exploration craft, even battered old mining vessels. Twisted hulls, shattered engines, debris fields that ripple like metallic dunes under the alien sky. This truly parse the parking lot, as the old-timers called it. The cosmic truck stop. Only now, it's all gone to hell. A sudden, sharp crack echoes from somewhere behind a massive, partially intact landing strut. Anya flinches, pressing herself closer. Your hand automatically goes for your sidearm, only to remember you dropped it trying to free her. A wave of ice-cold dread washes over you. You are exposed. Vulnerable. This isn't a battle for a console or a corridor anymore. This is a battle for inches, for breath, for simple survival on an alien world that's been used and abused and is now, clearly, fighting back. We need to find cover, you grit out, your voice rough. Every bone in your body aches, your leg a throbbing inferno. But the raw, primal instinct to asterisk move, to asterisk protect, overrides everything else. You push yourself to your feet, swaying for a moment, the ground unsteady beneath you. Anya stares at the desolate landscape, her hope visibly draining. What's the point? There's nothing here. We're stranded. You look out at the gray canvas of this world, at the broken promises of human expansion littered across its surface. No, there's nothing here. There's everything here. The planet, the hostiles, the impossible odds. And you, a human, standing on the edge of utter annihilation. The point, you say, your voice gaining a fierce, unyielding edge, is that we're still breathing, and as long as we're breathing, we build, we fight, we adapt. That's what we do. We turn this whole damn gray canvas into something else. You start limping towards a cluster of distant, larger wreckage, pulling Anya with you. Because even when the world looks like it's ended, humanity still finds a way to stubbornly start over, one painful, defiant step at a time. The air catches in your throat, dry and thin, tasting faintly of ozone and stale desperation. It's recycled air, the last gasp of a failing filtration system tucked away in the belly of what used to be a cargo shuttle's power conduit access tunnel. Every breath feels heavy, a conscious effort, a stark reminder of the fragile bubble of survivability you've managed to carve out of this alien world's hostile embrace. The persistent sweet earth smell from outside still manages to seep in, a ghostly whisper of the danger lurking just beyond the patched-up hull plating. It mixes with the coppery tang of old blood in your mouth, and the metallic scent of sweat that clings to your skin, a grim cocktail that fuels your constant unease. The hum of the emergency atmospheric processor is a lullaby of dread, a low, mechanical whine that vibrates through the metal floor beneath you. It's just loud enough to drown out the smaller sounds, the scuttling of something unseen in the outer wreckage, the distant guttural clicks that sometimes echo across the desolation. You press your hand against the cold, grimy wall of the tunnel, feeling the faint tremor from the processor, a tiny, defiant heartbeat in the heart of a dead ship. Your leg throbs with a dull ache, a constant companion, but the real pain is the gnawing uncertainty in your gut. How long will this last? How much oxygen is left? How many power cells are still sputtering out their last electrons? Anya shivers beside you, wrapped in a thermal blanket scavenged from a medical bay, her eyes still haunted by the sight of the wrecked Peregrine. It's getting colder, she murmurs, her voice barely a whisper against the processor's drone. And I can feel the air getting heavier. You nod, because you feel it too. The subtle shift in pressure, the way your lungs work just a little harder, the faint lightheadedness that suggests carbon dioxide levels are creeping up. It's a slow strangulation, an insidious threat far more terrifying than the immediate violence of the crash. You can fight a monster, but you can't punch thin air. Your gaze sweeps across the cramped space. Scraps of insulation, salvaged wiring, and a handful of emergency rations are all you have. This isn't a base. It's a burrow, a desperate temporary hovel cobbled together from the bones of dead ships, just like the thousands of others littering this planet. Humanity, reduced to living in tin cans, breathing its own recycled exhalations while the great cosmic parking lot outside claims its due. You shift, trying to find a more comfortable position, but there isn't one. Every surface is hard, cold, unforgiving. We need to ration the power for the lights too, you say, your voice gruff, trying to project a confidence you don't feel. Just enough to see by. Save the rest for the processor. Anya looks at you, her expression a mix of fear and fragile trust. What's out there? She asks, her voice barely audible. The things from the ship? You stare at the reinforced hatch, a temporary barrier against the unknown. That cloying alien smell seems to intensify for a moment, a phantom sensation. We don't know, you admit, the honesty feeling like a fresh wound. But you do know one thing. Out there is a world that wants you gone. In here, in this claustrophobic space, with its recycled air and humming processor, is a sliver of home. A sliver of human will. You take another deep, consciously slow breath, letting the dry, stale air fill your lungs. It's not much, but it's asterisk your air, and as long as you have a breath in your body, you will find a way to make it count. Because that's what humans do when everything else is stripped away. They find defiance in the simple, desperate act of breathing. A low, rhythmic thrum vibrates through the floor, a phantom heartbeat in the silence. It's not the atmospheric processor this time, nor the groaning wreckage of your own ship. This thrum is different. Older, deeper, resonating from somewhere in the twisted intestines of the enormous cargo hauler you've taken refuge in. The air in your makeshift burrow, already stale and thin, feels charged with a strange, almost electric tension. A faint, intermittent whine, like a dying cybernetic insect, cuts through the drone of the air filter, making the hairs on your arms prickle. It's the kind of sound that screams, malfunction, a ghost in the machine demanding attention. You've been trying to jury-rig a comms array from scavenged parts, hoping to catch a stray signal, any sign of other survivors. Your fingers, raw and aching, trace the cold, slick surface of a shattered display panel, pulling free a tangle of corroded wiring. The coppery scent of old electronics, long dead, mingles with the metallic tang of your own sweat. Suddenly, a jolt. Not electric, but something far more unsettling. The old display flickers, a tiny, almost imperceptible spark of green light across the cracked screen. Then, a blast of pure static explodes from the crude speaker you wired together, a screeching cacophony that makes Anya cry out, pressing her hands over her ears. Your heart leaps into your throat. It's raw, it's broken, but it's asterisk something. Your mind races, cycling through possible frequencies, scanning for patterns in the chaos. This derelict ship, a hulking monument to past human ambition, should be utterly silent, dead. Yet, a ghost in its machine is stirring. You lean closer, ignoring the sharp pain in your leg, the metallic taste of adrenaline in your mouth. The static fades, replaced by a series of clicks and pops, then a whisper of what sounds like a voice. Garbled, distant, almost swallowed by interference, but distinctly human. Anyone repeat? Anyone out there? Anya stares at you, her eyes wide with a fragile, dangerous hope. Is that a distress call? She breathes, her voice trembling. Your own pulse races. You've been alone, just the two of you, for what feels like an eternity in this metal tomb. The sheer audacity of a signal, breaking through the cosmic silence, is enough to send a shiver down your spine. But it's not just a message. It's an echo of every human who ever got stranded on this god-forsaken parking lot of a planet. You grab a piece of scrap metal, a bent strut, and quickly bang it against the hull in a rhythmic pattern. The universal, "Are you there?" signal. Hope is a cruel thing in this place, a spark that can just as easily lead you to ruin as to rescue. But the primal human need to connect, to not be alone, is a force stronger than any fear. The strange thrumming from the ship's bowels intensifies, mingling with the new, fragile pulse of the comms. Is it a reply? Or something else, stirred by your frantic attempts to contact the outside world? Then, the static returns, but this time, it's different, sharper, colder, with an underlying hiss that raises goosebumps on your skin. And cutting through it, faint but undeniable, is a sound you've heard before. A sound that makes your blood run cold. The low, guttural chittering of the alien creatures. They're listening. They're learning. The comms unit spits out a final, distorted phrase, chillingly clear amidst the chittering. They're here. They know. Then. Dead air. Just the hiss. And the thrumming. You stare at the inert screen, your heart a frozen lump in your chest. The Comspro ghosts in the machine weren't just echoes of humanity's past. They were also the warning, the chilling knowledge that sometimes, when you send a message into the void, something else answers. And not always with a friendly voice. Humanity, always reaching, always trying to connect. And sometimes, finding out that the void reaches back. The cold isn't just a chill in the air anymore. It's a crushing weight, seeping into your bones, stealing the heat from your very core. You press your hand against the rough, flaking paint of a colossal support beam, feeling its ancient, frozen indifference. Overhead, a curved wall of rust-streaked alloy stretches upward, until it disappears into the swirling gray haze that passes for sky on this planet. This isn't a ship you recognize. It's a relic, a skeleton of something built by human hands long before your time, something truly monumental that met its end here. Its shadow, immense and perpetual, engulfs you, dwarfing everything, even your own wrecked peregrine, which now looks like a toy in the distance. A low, mournful groan echoes from deep within the metallic canyons formed by the adjacent wreckages. It's the sound of shifting metal, of something settling, or perhaps something moving in the vast, dark spaces you can only glimpse through gaping holes in the hulls. That cloying, sweet earth alien smell from before is weaker here, replaced by the stark, metallic tang of cold, damp rust, and the biting scent of the wind that whips through the colossal structures. Your breath plumes in front of you, a fleeting cloud of human warmth against the immense, indifferent cold. Your injured leg protests with every uneven step, a dull, constant throb that matches the ache in your tired muscles. Anya clutches your arm, her grip surprisingly strong. Her eyes, wide and darting, take in the sheer, impossible scale of the graveyard around you. "It's bigger than I imagined," she whispers, her voice barely audible over the howl of the wind. "How many ships are out here?" You don't answer. You don't need to. The answer is obvious. More than anyone could count. An interstellar parking lot turned cosmic junkyard, stretching further than the eye can see into the hazy horizon. Each one a testament to human ambition and to the unknown forces that claimed them. A sudden, faint scuttling sound, like claws on metal, scrapes from an alcove deeper within the shadow. Your head snaps towards it, every nerve instantly screaming, "Danger!" Your hand instinctively reaches for a weapon that isn't there, a cold wave of vulnerability washing over you. The chittering from the comms message earlier flashes through your mind. They know. They are out here. And these colossal wrecks, these silent giants, aren't just shelter. They're a hunting ground. A labyrinth of metal, where every shadow could hide something with too many legs and too many teeth. "Keep moving," you say, your voice rough, pulling Anya forward. You spot a narrow passage, barely wider than your shoulders, between two collapsed sections of hull. It's dark, intimidating, and likely a dead end, but it offers immediate concealment from whatever just made that sound. Every instinct screams at you to be small, to hide, to become invisible against the sheer overwhelming scale of this place. The temptation to huddle down, to let the cold and the endlessness consume you, is powerful. But then you see it. High above, nestled impossibly between two enormous, crumpled thrusters, a tiny flicker of light. A human-made light. It's almost certainly a trap, or a hallucination, or a beacon from a long-dead system. But it's asterisk there. A spark of warmth in the vast, indifferent shadow of these giants. Anya follows your gaze, a fragile hope blossoming in her eyes. "Someone else?" she breathes. "You don't know. You don't care if it's an alien trap or a ghost. All you know is that humanity doesn't just cower in shadows. We look for the light, no matter how faint, no matter how impossible the climb." You clench your jaw, ignoring the pain, and start to move towards that flicker. Because even amongst the colossal ruins of forgotten dreams, humans are too stubborn to simply vanish into the dark. The hum isn't just in the air. It's asterisk in you. A low-frequency vibration that started subtly, a barely perceptible thrum underfoot as you venture deeper into the gargantuan wrecks. But now it's a constant, insistent pressure behind your eyes, a dull ache in your teeth. It's a sound you feel more than hear, resonating through the cold, damp metal of the derelict cargo hauler, vibrating up through the soles of your boots and settling deep in your gut like a lead weight. Every bone in your body feels like a tuning fork, struck by some unseen colossal hammer. The air, already thick with the metallic tang of rust and the sweet earth alien scent, now tastes faintly metallic, like static electricity on your tongue, adding to the pervasive sense of unease. You press a hand against a massive, corroded bulkhead, feeling the ceaseless tremor. Your injured leg, a throbbing testament to your recent crash, seems to ache in rhythm with the hum, a deeper, more primal pain. Anya, clutching her salvaged thermal blanket, looks pale, her face etched with a mix of exhaustion and growing dread. She presses her hands to her ears, even though the hum is beyond simple auditory dampening. It's everywhere," she whispers, her voice strained, almost lost in the resonant drone. "What is that?" You shake your head, trying to clear the fog from your brain. The hum is disorienting, making you feel perpetually off balance, like the world itself is subtly swaying. It's too regular, too powerful to be a natural phenomenon, or merely the shifting of a wrecked ship. This is something else. Something built. Something alive, perhaps, or at least operating with a terrifying, alien efficiency. It's the planet's pulse, or maybe the pulse of whatever truly runs this planetary graveyard. Your instincts, honed by combat and sheer survival, scream that this endless hum isn't benign. It feels like a warning. Or a trap. You push forward, forcing one aching foot in front of the other, following the faint, impossible glimmer of light you spotted earlier. The deeper you go, the stronger the hum becomes, pressing in on you, making your vision swim at the edges. The internal structure of this colossal wreck is a twisted maze of collapsed gantries and jagged bulkheads, all painted in the eternal, unsettling gray of this world. Every shadow seems to deepen, to coalesce into something watchful. The pervasive alien smell here is laced with something new. A faint, almost acrid smell, like burnt ozone mixed with something truly ancient and powerful. "We need to hurry," you rasp, your voice feeling rough and unfamiliar. You're not just trying to find cover anymore, you're trying to find an answer. The hum feels like a question, an endless, terrifying query that humanity somehow needs to address. Is it a beacon, a power source, or the insidious heartbeat of the very creatures that tear human ships apart? The thought sends a fresh jolt of fear through you, but it's quickly followed by a spark of stubborn, indignant anger. You round a corner, stepping into a cavernous chamber that feels like the belly of a leviathan. The hum here is deafening, a physical force that vibrates every cell in your body. It emanates from a colossal, alien structure, impossibly ancient, embedded deep within the ship's ravaged core. It's not human, not even close. Its surface pulses with a faint inner light, a rhythmic, deep glow that matches the relentless hum. It is a monument to a power beyond your comprehension, a silent, operating giant amidst the debris of human ambition. You stare at it, awe and dread warring in your chest. Humanity came here, a parking lot. And now, you realize, you've stumbled into the engine room of something that calls itself home. And it is humming a very, very old song of ownership. The air is thick, heavy with the scent of damp earth, stagnant water, and something else. A mineral tang, sharp and cold, entirely different from the metallic dust of the wrecked ships above. You feel it clinging to your skin, seeping into your clothes, a pervasive chill that goes deeper than the surface cold. Your boots slosh through a thin layer of freezing muck, the squelching sound amplified by the oppressive silence that presses in on all sides. Gone is the relentless hum, the groaning metal, the wailing wind. Here, deep beneath the skeletal remains of the colossal cargo hauler, there is only the drip, drip, drip of water from unseen cracks, and the frantic beat of your own heart. You're crawling, squeezing through a narrow fissure in what appears to be natural rock, wedged between two immense buried sections of a starship hull. The rough stone scrapes against your back, the cold, wet surface sending shivers down your spine. The beam from your scavenged, dying utility torch cuts a meager circle of flickering light, dancing over glistening, moss-covered rock and the dark, inert surfaces of ancient human tech. This isn't just a buried wreck. It's an asterisk underlot, a forgotten layer beneath the surface graveyard, a clandestine space that feels both primordial and hauntingly man-made. Your injured leg protests with a dull, persistent throb, each movement an agony, but you ignore it, focusing on the sliver of light ahead, that impossible glimmer you've been chasing since you dropped into this subterranean maze. "Are you sure about this?" Anya's voice, muffled and tight with fear, echoes from behind you, her own small light bobbing erratically. It smells ancient, and not in a good way. You don't answer, pushing a loose piece of rock out of your path. You're not sure about anything, but the alternative is freezing to death, or being picked apart by the chittering things on the surface. Humanity doesn't just lie down and wait for the end. It digs. It explores. It stubbornly demands answers, even from the darkest, deepest places. The glimmer ahead strengthens, no longer just a flicker, but a steady, impossibly clean white light, cutting through the damp, oppressive gloom. It's too pure, too stable to be another failing emergency lamp. This light feels deliberate, alien perhaps, or something far, far stranger. A knot of anticipation tightens in your gut, a mix of primal fear and an insatiable human curiosity. What kind of secrets does a planet that eats spaceships bury? You finally break through the narrow passage, tumbling onto a wider level surface. Your torch beam cuts across a vast cavern, far larger than anything you expected. The air here is still, cold, but no longer stale. And that glimmer, it's not a light at all, not in the way you understand it. It's coming from the ground itself. Strange, crystalline formations, growing directly out of the cavern floor, pulse with an internal, phosphorescent white glow, casting eerie, shifting patterns across the cavern walls. They're organic, yet structured with an impossible geometry, like frozen lightning bolts of pure light. A gasp escapes Anya's lips, a sound of pure, unadulterated awe. You stare, muscles tense, pistol held ready, despite the throbbing pain. These aren't crude alien tools or savage nests. This is beauty. This is power. This is a secret the planet held. Not for you, but that humanity, in its desperation, had stumbled upon. You feel the tremor again, a faint, rhythmic pulse resonating from deep within the glowing crystals, a connection to the planet itself. It's not a parking lot here. It's a cathedral. And you, a fragile human, standing in its heart, holding a dying torch against its impossible ancient light. You take a slow, deep breath, the cold air filling your lungs. Humanity, always finding the most improbable paths, always digging a little deeper, and always finding something more than it bargained for. The air, already cold and damp in this vast glowing cavern, carries a new subtle current now. It's a scent that wasn't there before, faint at first, barely a whisper against the mineral tang and the rich, earthy dampness. But it grows, slowly, insidiously, touching the back of your throat with a dry, almost crystalline sweetness, like cinnamon, but sharper with an unsettling chemical edge, and then something else. Something utterly alien, an aromatic spice that prickles your sinuses and makes your eyes water just a touch. It's intoxicating, unsettling, a silent invasion of your most primal senses. You take a cautious step towards the pulsing, glowing crystals that erupt from the cavern floor. Your injured leg protesting, but your curiosity overriding the pain. The nearer you get, the stronger the scent becomes, filling your lungs, mingling with the coppery taste of old blood in your mouth, until it feels like you're breathing pure, distilled essence of alien. A strange warmth blooms in your chest, spreading outward, a tingling sensation that is both uncomfortable and strangely energizing. Your vision seems to sharpen, the impossible geometry of the crystals becoming clearer, more defined, their internal light pulsing with a mesmerizing rhythm that almost seems to sync with your own heartbeat. Anya clutches your arm, her grip tight, her eyes wide with a mixture of awe and fear. Did you smell that?" she whispers, her voice barely a breath. "It's like a dream. Or a poison." You nod, your throat feeling strangely dry. It's both, or neither. It's just trade alien, and it's affecting you, a subtle shift in perception, a prickling awareness at the edges of your mind, like static building behind your thoughts. The air around the crystals shimmers faintly, distorting the edges of your vision, making the cavern seem to breathe, to expand and contract with the rhythm of the hidden spice. A low, distant thrum starts again, not the relentless hum from the wrecked ship above, but a softer, organic vibration that seems to emanate from the glowing crystals themselves, a deep, resonant chord. It harmonizes with the alien spice in the air, creating a bizarre, sensory symphony that feels like it's peeling back layers of your own reality. For a moment you feel a peculiar sense of peace, a calming presence washing over you, as if the planet itself is inviting you in, offering solace. Then, just as quickly, the sensation twists, the peace curdling into a deep, primal unease. Your hand instinctively reaches for your non-existent sidearm again, a phantom weight at your hip. This isn't just a scent, it's an influence. A subtle, insidious lure that feels like it's trying to burrow into your mind, to reshape your thoughts, to make you comfortable here. Too comfortable. Humanity might be curious, might be adaptable, but it also has an instinct for what is fundamentally wrong. And this alien spice, this beautiful, dangerous invitation, feels profoundly wrong. Don't breathe too deep, you rasp, pulling Anya back a step, forcing your heavy limbs to move away from the immediate aura of the crystals. The warmth in your chest recedes, replaced by a cold knot of suspicion. The sharp, sweet scent still clings to you, to your clothes, to the inside of your lungs, a lingering whisper of its power. This isn't just a parking lot, or a junkyard, or a cavern. It's a place that asks for something in return. And humanity, for all its resilience, knows when a gift comes with too high a price. You take a painful, defiant breath, the alien spice still in your mouth, a taste of a battle that might not be fought with bullets, but with willpower alone. A soft, persistent rustle. Not the creaking of stressed metal, nor the drip of water, but something lighter, drier, like dry leaves scraping over old paper. It dances at the edge of your hearing, just beyond the drone of the jury-rigged atmospheric processor in your cramped burrow. A sound entirely out of place in the belly of a dead starship. The stale, recycled air feels colder than usual, thick with the metallic tang of rust, and the lingering sweet spice whisper of the alien cavern below. You tense, every muscle in your body locking up, a cold knot forming in your gut. Your injured leg screams in protest, but you ignore it, straining to hear, to pinpoint the source. Anya is asleep, huddled in her thermal blanket, her breathing shallow and even. You don't dare wake her. Not yet. Not until you know what you're dealing with. The rustling comes again, closer this time, accompanied by a faint scrape, like tiny claws on metal. It's coming from the vent shaft overhead. A dark, narrow opening barely large enough for a maintenance bot. Your eyes fix on the grill, a shadow play of fear flickering at the edges of your vision. That vent was supposed to be sealed, welded shut with scavenged plating. You checked it yourself. Twice. Your hand trembles as you reach for the heavy wrench you've repurposed as a weapon. The cold steel feels inadequate, a poor substitute for a pistol. But it's all you have. Every hair on your body stands on end, a primal alarm screaming in your skull. This isn't just an animal. The sounds are too deliberate, too persistent. This is an intrusion. Something found you. The rustle intensifies, directly above the vent now. Then, a low chitter. The same sound you heard when the creature breached the Peregrine Comes a bridge. Your blood runs cold, a fresh wave of adrenaline coursing through your veins, sharpening your senses, making your heart pound a furious rhythm against your ribs. You can almost feel its alien presence, its predatory hunger, through the thin metal of the vent. It's here. It followed you. Or, it was here all along, waiting. A tiny obsidian black eye, multifaceted and gleaming, appears through a crack in the vent grill, swiveling, assessing. It's followed by another, then another, a cluster of pinprick reflections in the dim light of your burrow. A low hiss escapes from the vent, a sound that vibrates in your chest, telling you it knows you're awake, that it's watching. This isn't just a random encounter. This feels personal. You slowly, carefully, Raise the heavy wrench, muscles coiling, preparing to strike. The rustling stops. The chittering stops. The cold air in the burrow feels heavy, thick, with unspoken threat. Only the drone of the atmospheric processor and the frantic beat of your own heart break the oppressive silence. It's playing with you. It's waiting for you to move, to make a mistake. Anya stirs, a soft sigh escaping her lips. The sound is enough. The creature in the vent reacts. A sudden, frantic scratching against the metal. A desperate attempt to force its way through. "Get behind me," you bark. Your voice hoarse. A primal roar of defiance tearing through the fear. The creature hisses again, more aggressive this time. And the vent grill begins to buckle, slowly, inexorably, under its unseen weight. You stand firm, the wrench a cold, solid weight in your hands. Humanity doesn't just hide in the dark. It fights, even when trapped, even when outmatched. Because even in the deepest, most desperate burrow, there's always a line you won't let anything cross. The air in the cramped burrow suddenly shifts. Not just a draft, but a palpable displacement, as if something large and fast has breached your defenses. A low, guttural hiss erupts from the vent. Closer now, sickeningly intimate. Then, a sharp crack as the mangled grill tears free, crashing to the metal floor with a sound that reverberates through your bones. Your heart leaps into your throat, a frantic bird beating against your ribs. Before you can react, a long segmented appendage, glistening with some sort of viscous fluid, lashes out from the gaping hole. It moves with a terrifying insectoid speed, a blur of chitin and claw, heading straight for Anya. "No!" you roar, a primal bellow of defiance tearing from your lungs. Instinct takes over. You don't think, you just act. Your injured leg screams in protest, but adrenaline overrides the pain. You thrust the heavy wrench forward, not aiming to strike, but to intercept, to protect. The alien appendage, tipped with a needle-sharp barb, slams into the cold, rough steel of the wrench with a sickening thud. The impact vibrates up your arm, jarring your shoulder, sending a shockwave of pain through your body, but it holds. The creature recoils with a frustrated clicking chitter, a sound that grates on your nerves. It pulls back into the shadows of the vent, briefly out of sight. Anya, jolted awake by the commotion, scrambles backward, pressing herself against the curved wall of the burrow, eyes wide with terror, her breath coming in ragged gasps. What was that?" she whimpers, her voice trembling. You don't answer, your gaze fixed on the vent. The air crackles with tension, thick with the metallic scent of rust, your own sweat, and that cloying sweet earth smell that now feels like a permanent resident in your lungs. The creature is adapting. It's testing your defenses, learning your weaknesses. And that knowledge, that calculated intelligence behind the primitive ferocity, is far more terrifying than its physical threat. This isn't a dumb animal. This is a hunter. Suddenly, a different kind of sensation. Not a physical impact, but a strange, prickly feeling, like static electricity crawling across your exposed skin. It emanates from the vent, a low, insidious hum that you feel rather than hear, radiating from within the hole. It's the same kind of energetic pulse you felt near the glowing crystals in the Underlot cavern, but twisted, malevolent. Your head throbs, and the sweet spice aroma from the crystals suddenly seems to intensify, a phantom taste in your mouth, amplifying the eerie sensation. Then, a subtle touch, not a claw, not a barb, but something softer, more diffuse, a ghostly pressure against your mind, a faint whisper of alien thought. It feels probing, inquisitive, yet laced with a chilling intent. It's an awareness, a direct, unsettling connection that makes your blood run cold. It feels like the creature isn't just trying to get Quizen physically, but Twizen to your head. It's trying to get past your defenses, to find a crack in your resolve. You grit your teeth, muscles tensing, a fierce primal scream of asterisk no prizing in your mind. This is new. This is unexpected. Humanity might be resourceful, might be tough, but you're not prepared for this kind of psychic assault. You can fight flesh and blood, metal and fire, but this is different. It's an invasion of the self. You slam the wrench against the vent opening, a desperate, defiant clang that echoes in the confined space. The ghostly touch recedes instantly, as if shocked by the raw, primitive force. The hum falters. A high-pitched, almost pained chitter escapes the vent. Then, silence. Absolute silence. You stand there, panting, the wrench heavy in your hands, the metallic taste of blood returning to your mouth. This planet wasn't just a parking lot. It was a place that taught humanity its limits, and then asked it to shatter them. And now, some fights aren't just about survival. The cold isn't just outside anymore. It's a living thing, seeping into the very core of your makeshift burrow, pressing against the patched-up hull, mocking your feeble attempts at warmth. You can feel it in your bones, a deep, pervasive chill that hints at the true, unyielding temperature of the world outside your thin metal shell. Your breath plumes in the dim, recycled air, a stark white cloud against the gloom, a fleeting sign of human warmth in a place that feels utterly devoid of it. The emergency power for the atmospheric processor is faltering, its drone weakening, making the air grow heavy, tinged with a faint, cloying mustiness you can't quite place. Your injured leg, a dull throb even when you're still, protests with an insistent ache, feeling stiff and clumsy in the oppressive cold. Anya is shivering beside you, curled into a tight ball, her thermal blanket doing little against the insidious chill. Her teeth chatter softly, a rhythmic click that adds to the growing sense of desperation. I can't feel my toes," she whispers, her voice thin and reedy. Your own fingers, raw and scraped, feel like numb blocks of wood, your grip on the salvaged wrench loose and unreliable. The rustle in the vents is gone, replaced by an unnerving silence. The alien creature seemed to retreat after that strange, primitive touch, after you slammed the wrench against its attempts to breach your mind. But the silence now feels heavier, more menacing than any chittering. It's the kind of quiet that means something is waiting, something is watching, something is just beyond your perception, patient and cold. It's the cold of the long sleepers, the deep, dark chill that permeates everything on this world, a testament to ancient, buried things. You push yourself upright, every muscle screaming in protest, and force your way to the small observation port you rigged up, a thick, scratched pane of repurposed transparasteel. You peer out into the vast, metallic graveyard. The sky is a uniform, brooding gray, pressing down like a shroud. But tonight, something new is visible. Through the haze, you can make out the hulking forms of more wrecks than you've ever seen, stretched out into the distance, almost completely swallowed by what looks like ice. Entire ships, frozen solid, encased in layers of shimmering alien rime, they stand like silent, colossal sentinels, testament to how long this planet has been collecting humanity's failed attempts. And amidst them, almost swallowed by the endless cold, a faint, rhythmic pulse of light. Not the glowing crystals of the underlot, not the strange, powerful hum. This light is a steady, almost imperceptible blink deep within the frozen heart of one of the colossal wreckages. Too faint to be a trap, too regular to be natural. It feels like a heartbeat, slow and ancient, trapped in the ice. A long sleeper. More ships, Anya says, her voice barely a whisper, as she peers over your shoulder. Frozen. They've been here for a very long time. Your gut clenches. The cold radiating from those frozen ships is palpable, a chill that pierces through your mental defenses. These weren't just crash sites. These were tombs. Humanity, in its hubris, turning an alien world into a parking lot, only to find itself parked here permanently, trapped in a cold, eternal sleep. You take a deep, shivering breath, the stale air scratching at your lungs. The faint light continues to pulse, a defiant spark in the midst of overwhelming cold and death. It calls to you, a whisper of a shared fate, a shared struggle. Humanity doesn't give up, not even when faced with an ice-cold eternity. It finds a way to wake the sleepers, or at least, to understand their fate. You pull your scavenged coat tighter, your jaw set. The cold of the long sleepers is a terrifying thing, but so is the stubborn, unyielding warmth of a single human heart refusing to surrender. The silence outside your burrow isn't the natural quiet of a dormant world. It's a profound, unnatural stillness, broken only by the thin, mournful whine of the wind that whistles through the skeletal remains of the colossal wrecks. It's the kind of silence that presses in on your ears, making them ache, making you hyper-aware of your own ragged breathing, of the frantic beat of your heart against your ribs. The air, even within the relative shelter of your metal shell, is brutally cold, a deep, pervasive chill that gnaws at your exposed skin and seeps into your very bones. You feel it in your stiff, protesting joints, in the numbness that creeps into your fingertips despite the scavenged gloves. You've armored yourself and Anya in every scrap of thermal sheeting and layered clothing you could find, turning you both into bulky, awkward figures. Your injured leg screams with dull protest as you push open the makeshift hatch, letting in a fresh gust of that biting, wind-whipped cold. Anya shivers violently beside you, her eyes wide and dark in the gloom, reflecting the desolate, icy landscape that stretches out before you. The faint, rhythmic light, the heartbeat of one of the long sleepers, pulses in the distance, a mesmerizing, chilling beacon against the gray, storm-swept sky. The ground crunches under your boots, a brittle mix of frozen dirt, pulverized rock, and shards of ice-encased metal. Every step is an effort, a struggle, against the unseen resistance of the deep cold. The sweet earth alien scent from before is almost completely gone here, replaced by the sharp, metallic tang of ice and rust, and a faint, acrid smell that makes your nose twitch, something like ozone mixed with old, cold blood. A ghost of violence hanging in the frigid air. As you draw closer to the source of the pulsing light, the wind, whipping through the narrow canyons of the immense frozen wreck, carries a new sound. It's not a chitter. It's not a growl. It's a low, almost imperceptible chant. A multitonal hum that resonates through the ice-slicked metal. A strange, guttural harmony that prickles the hairs on your neck. It's profoundly alien, yet undeniably reverent. You creep around a massive, ice-encased thruster, using its bulk for cover. What you see stops you cold. Your breath catches in your throat. A silent gasp. A dozen of the alien creatures, the same multi-limbed, chitinous beings that attacked your ship, are gathered around the frozen vessel. But they're not attacking it. They're not tearing it apart. They're tending to it. They move with a slow, deliberate grace, their movements almost ritualistic. Some are carefully wiping away frost from certain sections of the hull, with slender, intricate appendages, revealing glinting patches of human-made steel beneath the ice. Others are adding small, glowing crystalline shards, identical to the ones you saw in the Underlot cavern, to crevices in the ship's frozen exterior, carefully embedding them, as if conducting a strange, alien ceremony. The light pulses from within the crystals, synchronizing with the slow, deep beat of the Bros, sleeper, ship. The chant, now closer, feels like it's vibrating through your very bones, a solemn, sacred sound. Anya gasps softly, pulling back into the shadow. They're praying to it? She whispers, her voice filled with bewildered awe. You watch, mesmerized, the bitter cold forgotten for a moment. This isn't brutality. This is something else entirely. Something beyond your understanding. They see this planet, this parking lot, not as a junk heap, but as a sacred ground, a resting place for something they respect, perhaps even worship. The sheer unpredictability of it all, the sudden jarring shift from savage predators to silent, reverent caretakers, is a shock to your system. Humanity built an interstellar truck stop, and the locals found it sacred. The first drop isn't just cold. It's a burning pinprick on your exposed cheek, a sharp, acidic sting that makes your skin instantly protest. Then another, and another. A low hiss erupts from the frozen hull of the long sleeper nearby, where the alien creatures were just performing their strange rituals, as the liquid hits the ancient metal, instantly eating through a patch of rust with an eerie orange glow. The metallic tang in the air, already sharp from the ice and decay, twists into something acrid, bitter, a taste that coats your tongue and stings your nostrils, making your eyes water. This isn't just rain. This is a weapon. You yell, a choked, guttural sound, pulling Anya further back into the meager shelter of the massive, ice-encased thruster you were hiding behind. Her gasp is sharp, terrified, as a drop lands on her hand, leaving a reddening mark on her thermal glove. "It's burning!" she cries, frantically wiping at it. The low, multi-tonal chant of the aliens has stopped, replaced by a sudden chaotic chittering, a frantic scattering of movement as they, too, react to the sudden, unexpected onslaught from the sky. The ritual is broken, dissolved in the corrosive downpour. The sky, that oppressive, brooding gray, has turned an even darker, sickly ochre. Rivulets of this biting chemical rain now stream down the colossal wreckages, sizzling and steaming as they eat at the exposed alloy, turning what was once a majestic hull into a weeping, corroded mess. Your scavenged coat, though thick, feels utterly inadequate. You can feel the cold seeping through, but now, mixed with a chilling, insidious burn that prickles your skin beneath the fabric. Your injured leg, a constant throb, now feels raw, exposed, the wound aching with a new, fiery pain that makes you grit your teeth. "Move! We need better cover!" You bark, your voice rough, urgent. The ground beneath your boots, a brittle mix of frozen dirt and metal shards, rapidly turns into a treacherous, acidic slush, each step a gamble. The wind, now whipping the corrosive rain into blinding sheets, makes it impossible to see more than a few feet in front of you. You stumble, catching yourself on a twisted piece of girder, your hand slipping on its slick, corrosive-coated surface. A searing pain shoots up your arm. You pull your hand back, a fresh blister already forming on your palm. This planet isn't just hostile. It's actively, aggressively trying to erase everything in its path, human or alien. You glance back at the long sleeper, shrouded now in steam and dissolving metal. The pulsing light within it has dimmed, flickering uncertainly, as if even the ancient powerful energy there is struggling against the corrosive assault. The aliens, moments ago reverent, are now just shadows, scrambling for shelter in the chaos, their forms indistinct against the blurring acidic storm. Their sudden shift from ritual to panicked flight is a stark reminder: this planet holds no favorites. Everything dies here. You shove Anya ahead of you, pushing her towards what looks like a partially collapsed maintenance tunnel within a nearby, smaller wreck. The air, thick with the acrid stench of dissolving metal and the biting rain, fills your lungs, making them ache. "Keep going," you shout over the roar of the storm, your voice raw with desperation and something else, a fierce, unyielding refusal to break. This is a new kind of hell, a fresh layer of challenge in this cosmic parking lot, but humanity has always found a way to survive the impossible, even when the very air tries to eat you alive. You press on, the corrosive sting on your face a testament to the bitter, unwavering resolve of human survival. The rain, a relentless, corrosive assault, finally begins to subside, fading from a stinging downpour to a chilling drizzle. But as the atmospheric gloom slowly thins, something entirely new, utterly unexpected, begins to bloom overhead. The sky, moments ago a sickly, oppressive ochre, isn't clearing into its usual brooding gray. Instead, streaks of vibrant, impossible color begin to bleed across the firmament. Electric purples, searing greens, and deep, resonant blues, all swirling together in a mesmerizing, toxic tapestry. It's a cosmic aurora, a light show born of chemical reactions in the upper atmosphere, a breathtaking display of raw, alien beauty. You press your face against the cold, grimy transparasteel of the collapsed maintenance tunnel, your breath fogging the pain. Your skin still smarts from the corrosive rain, a dull, persistent ache that contrasts sharply with the sudden, breathtaking spectacle outside. Anya is beside you, her earlier terror replaced by a stunned, fragile awe. Her hand, still red from the acidic splash, is pressed against the glass, her eyes wide, reflecting the impossible colors of the sky. "It's beautiful," she whispers, her voice barely audible, a fragile sound against the dying hiss of the rain. The air outside, though still acrid with the tang of dissolving metal, now carries a strange, almost sweet undertone, a phantom echo of the alien spice from the underlot, mingling with the fresh scent of ozone generated by the sky's light show. It's beautiful, yes, But it's also a stark reminder of how utterly alien, how fundamentally hostile this planet remains. This breathtaking display is born from the same corrosive forces that tried to burn you alive. A deadly light show above a graveyard of human ambition. It's a beauty that promises death, a celestial warning painted in impossible hues. Your injured leg protests with a fresh wave of pain as you shift, the cold seeping into your muscles, but your gaze remains fixed on the sky. The wrecks, partially dissolved and steaming in the aftermath of the rain, stand silhouetted against the shifting colors, transformed into grotesque, glittering monuments to humanity's hubris. The long sleeper, its internal light now a faint stuttering flicker, seems to pulse weakly against the vibrant backdrop, a dying heart beating out its last, defiant rhythm. Even the alien creatures, moments ago in frantic disarray, are now visible again, silhouetted on distant hull fragments, seemingly paused in their frantic search for shelter, their chitinous forms bathed in the shifting toxic light. They too are watching. A sense of profound, unsettling awe washes over you, mingling with the lingering fear and the gnawing ache of your injuries. This planet, this supposed parking lot, is alive in ways humanity never accounted for. It's not just a collection of resources or a convenient stopover. It's a vibrant, lethal ecosystem, one that creates both unimaginable horror and breathtaking beauty from the very elements that destroy. Humanity came here, a simple stop on a journey, and now, you're witnessing the raw, untamed power of a world that doesn't care about your plans, your ambitions, or your survival. You take a deep, shaky breath, the acrid ozone-laden air filling your lungs. The beauty of the toxic sky is a paradox, a terrifying truth about the universe, that even in its most deadly corners, there can be a magnificence that tears at your soul. And as you watch the impossible colors swirl and bleed across the heavens, you realize something profound. Humanity doesn't just survive on alien worlds, it witnesses them. It endures their horrors, yes, but it also sees their terrible, exquisite beauty. And in that moment of fragile, desperate awe, you know that even in the face of such overwhelming, beautiful hostility, humanity will always find a way to stubbornly live, to stubbornly observe, to stubbornly double-chin pointed. The sound isn't sudden, nor is it loud. It's a deep, pervasive groan, a low, resonant tremor that starts far away, deep within the colossal wreckage field, and slowly, inexorably builds. It feels less like a sound and more like a vibration, a primordial ache that resonates through the very metal of the maintenance tunnel you're sheltering in, humming up through the soles of your boots and settling in your bones. It's the groan of ancient, dying giants, of countless ships that have been parked here, dormant, for untold ages, finally beginning to stir. The corrosive rain has faded, leaving behind a cold, acrid scent of ozone and dissolving metal, now mixed with the pervasive, sweet earth alien smell that seems to cling to everything on this planet. Your injured leg throbs, a persistent pain that matches the rhythm of the distant groan, making your muscles tense with unease. Anya is pressed close beside you, her hand gripping your arm, her knuckles white. Her eyes are wide, fixed on the distant spectral forms of the wrecks outside, silhouetted against the fading toxic aurora. What is that?" she whispers, her voice a thin, reedy sound, barely audible over the growing low hum. The groan intensifies. No longer a singular sound, but a symphony of metal under immense stress. A collective sigh from the ghost fleet that surrounds you. You feel the ground beneath you shudder, a slow, deliberate tremor that makes the loose debris in the tunnel rattle softly. This isn't a natural quake. This is something far more disturbing. This is the planet itself, or perhaps the colossal, alien structure within its core, reaching out, touching, activating the silent ships. Through a crack in the tunnel's reinforced wall, you catch a glimpse of the outer graveyard. The wrecked ships, frozen and inert moments ago, are now shifting. Slowly, majestically, massive sections of hull, previously thought permanently fused to the ground by ice and time, begin to lift, to twist, to grind against each other with agonizing slowness. It's like watching an entire mountain range slowly realign itself, but these are mountains of human-made steel, monuments to a forgotten era, now animated by an unseen alien will. And then, a flash. Not a flicker of emergency lights, but a deep, vibrant emerald green, erupting from the core of one of the furthest, most massive wrecks. Then another. And another. A chain reaction of light, blooming across the vast expanse of the graveyard, turning the skeletal remains into a grotesque, glowing, reanimated fleet. The groan reaches a crescendo, a terrifying, triumphant roar that reverberates through the entire planet, shaking the very air around you, making your teeth ache. This is the endless hum from the underlot, the power of the glowing crystals, unleashed. A chill, colder than any ice, washes over you, deeper than the physical cold that still clings to your bones. This isn't a parking lot. This is a trap. A cosmic spiderweb, set by an intelligence that has been patiently collecting and reanimating human vessels for an unknown, sinister purpose. Humanity, in its ambition, had built a series of beacons, only for an alien architect to turn them into an army. You stare at the reanimated ghost fleet, a profound, terrifying awe washing over you. This wasn't just a world that ate ships. It was a world that cholied them. You feel a surge of defiant fury, a burning anger at the sheer audacity of this alien power, turning humanity's failures into its own twisted instruments. You clench your jaw, a metallic taste in your mouth that might be blood, might be pure iron resolve. Humanity might be broken, might be stranded, might even be a toy in an alien game. But humanity does not go down without a fight. Not when its own machines, its own creations are turned against it. And now, the true battle for the parking lot has just begun. The dust is everywhere. It's not just grit under your boots. It's a fine, insidious powder that coats everything. A silent, pervasive blanket woven from the disintegrated remnants of countless ships. You taste it on your tongue, gritty and bitter. A metallic memory of rusted iron and burnt circuitry, mingling with the faint, sweet earth alien scent that still manages to seep into the air. Every breath is a struggle against its dry, choking presence, forcing a cough that scrapes at your raw throat. Your scavenged coat, once a shield against the cold, now feels heavy, impregnated with the history of forgotten journeys, each particle a whisper of failure. The distant groan of the ghost fleet, now a relentless slow thrum, vibrates through the very ground, stirring the dust into ethereal, swirling currents that dance in the dim, fading light. It feels like the planet itself is breathing out the dead, exhaling the accumulated sorrow and decay of human ambition. Your injured leg aches with every labored step you take through the swirling motes, a dull, insistent pain that anchors you to this harsh reality. Anya is hunched beside you, her eyes squeezed shut against the perpetual fine mist, her face streaked with tears and dirt, making her look like a child lost in a monstrous forgotten attic. It's getting in everywhere, she rasps, her voice muffled thick with dust and despair. My eyes burn, my lungs burn, there's nowhere to hide from it. You nod, because you feel it too. The dust is a physical manifestation of this planet's dominance, a constant reminder of how many humans came before you, and how many failed to leave. This isn't just a physical hardship. It's a psychological one, a relentless assault on your will, burying you in the detritus of past defeats. You push through a narrow gap between two sections of collapsed hull, the dust swirling around you like a hungry phantom. Your hand brushes against a corroded control panel, long dead, its symbols almost completely obscured by layers of accumulated grime. This was someone's bridge once. Someone's home. Someone's hope. Now it's just another piece of the dust. Your fingers, raw and scraped, trace a faint, familiar insignia. The stylized bird of the Peregrine's sister ship, the Kestrel. A jolt of cold, hard recognition hits you. You worked with engineers from the Kestrel on the last run. You knew some of those faces. A sudden sharp chord cuts through the thrumming directly overhead. It's too sharp, too precise to be just shifting metal. You look up, squinting through the dust. High above, silhouetted against the swirling, toxic beauty of the alien sky, you see a massive segment of the ghost fleet. A colossal cargo hauler, slowly, majestically, Kanagas lifting this off the ground. Its hull, covered in the same fine dust, is now glowing with an eerie emerald light, like a reanimated zombie. As it ascends, tons of accumulated dust cascade from its underbelly, raining down in a suffocating cloud, an avalanche of forgotten journeys. You shield Anya's face with your arm, coughing violently as the fresh wave of particulate chokes you. The metallic taste in your mouth intensifies, a grim reminder of your own fragility. This isn't just about survival anymore. This is about being buried alive, about being forgotten, just like the millions of others whose remnants now form the very air you breathe. This planet isn't just collecting ships. It's harvesting history, turning human dreams into its own insidious, omnipresent weapon. But then, as the dust settles slightly, through the lingering haze, you see it. Near the base of the now floating ghost ship, a small, dark object. A data slate, probably useless, probably corrupted, probably just another piece of junk. But it's Asterix human. And as you limp towards it, pushing through the dust, your injured leg protesting, a defiant spark ignites within you. You won't be buried. You won't be forgotten. The quiet is what hits you first. Not the usual drone of the jury-rigged atmospheric processor in your cramped burrow, nor the distant groan of the reanimated ghost fleet. This is a profound, unsettling absence of sound. A silence so complete it presses in on your ears, making them ache. You can hear your own heart thumping, a frantic, almost deafening drumbeat against your ribs. The air, already stale and thin, feels heavy, pregnant with unspoken tension. The metallic tang of rust and dust, the lingering sweet earth alien scent, all of it seems to amplify in this absolute stillness, making every breath feel sharp and cold. You're huddled in the makeshift burrow, Anya asleep beside you, her breathing shallow and uneven, thankfully unaware of the unnerving change. Your injured leg, a dull throb, feels stiff and clumsy, but your muscles are coiled tight, every nerve screaming a silent alarm. The data slate you found, a small, dark rectangle of human tech, sits cold and inert in your hand, its screen a blank, dead mirror. You manage to power it, briefly, just enough to see a fragmented log entry. Asterisk. They aren't dismantling. They're waiting, collecting. For what? The quiet is the worst. Asterisk. Then, static. And now, this deep, absolute quiet. The chill in the burrow intensifies. Not just the physical cold that gnaws at your bones, but a colder, more existential dread. It's the quiet of a predator stalking its prey, the calm before an inevitable storm, or perhaps the profound silence of a truly ancient, alien power finally ready to reveal its full hand. The absence of the ghost fleet's groan, the lack of the wind's mournful whine, the missing chittering of the alien creatures, it's all too perfect, too deliberate. This isn't natural, this is orchestrated. You crawl silently to the small observation port, pressing your face against the cold, grimy transparisteel. Outside, the toxic aurora has faded, leaving the sky a uniform, oppressive gray. The entire graveyard of wrecks is visible, stretching into the hazy distance, but they're not just standing there. They're tari-taris, spaded, like colossal pieces on a chessboard, shifted into a new, complex pattern, their emerald lights glowing with a muted, sinister intensity. Your own wrecked peregrine is a tiny, insignificant piece in this vast, alien game. A low internal thrum starts, deep within the ground, a familiar vibration that resonates through the metal floor of your burrow. It's the planet's heartbeat, the power of the glowing crystals in the underlot, but now it feels different. Not just a hum, but a prelude, a gathering. And you, a fragile human, are caught in its grasp. Anya, you whisper, your voice hoarse, but she doesn't stir. The quiet has a way of absorbing sound, of making even a shout feel like a muffled plea. Your hand trembles as you grip the cold metal of the salvaged wrench. You're alone. Utterly terrifyingly alone in this profound silence, surrounded by an alien power that seems to be operating on a scale humanity could barely comprehend. This isn't a parking lot. It's a stage. And you're the last act. You stare out at the rearranged ghost fleet, at the silent, glowing wrecks, and a profound realization settles over you. They weren't just collecting ships. They were building something. Something vast, something terrifying, something that had been waiting in the silence for centuries. And the quiet now, it means it's finished. Humanity, always reaching, always expanding, had parked its ships on an alien world, only to find the locals had plans for them. And now, in this unsettling quiet, those plans are about to be revealed. You take a slow, deep breath, tasting the dust, and prepare yourself. Because even in the face of absolute cosmic silence, a human heart will still beat with defiance. The absolute quiet shattered, not with a roar, but with a deep, resonant track. It rips through the unsettling stillness, an explosive sound that vibrates through your teeth, echoing through the cramped confines of your burrow. It's the sound of immense, ancient stress, of something truly massive giving way. A fine spray of dust and loose metal flakes rains down from the ceiling of your makeshift shelter, gritty and cold against your face, carrying the familiar metallic tang of old rust and the faint, sweet earth alien scent. Your injured leg, already aching, sends a fresh jolt of white-hot pain shooting up your thigh as the sudden impact jars your body. You gasp, pulling Anya closer, shielding her instinctively as the entire structure shudders violently. The atmospheric processor sputters, then dies, plunging the burrow into near total darkness, broken only by the feeble, dying glow of your utility torch. The profound quiet returns, but it's no longer unsettling. It's terrifying. It's the silence that follows an explosion, the prelude to whatever comes next. Your eyes, now straining to adjust, dart around the cramped space. The C-rack felt too close, too personal. Then you see it. On the reinforced bulkhead, the very wall you've trusted to keep the alien world out, a hairline fissure snakes its way across the cold metal. Not just a scratch, but a deep, structural flaw, a spider web of damage born from the powerful, unseen force that just erupted. A sliver of raw emerald light, impossibly vibrant, glows from within the crack, a defiant beacon hinting at the immense power now coursing through the wrecks outside. It's a crack in your concrete, a breach in your last line of defense. A low, guttural chittering, sickeningly familiar, emanates from just beyond the breached wall, closer than ever before. This isn't the rustle in the vents. This is direct. This is a deliberate, targeted assault on your very last refuge. The metallic tang in the air suddenly intensifies, almost burning your nostrils, and you realize it's not just rust. It's the smell of newly exposed, alien-energized metal, of raw, primal power. "They're coming in," Anya whispers, her voice a thin thread of terror, her eyes fixed on the glowing crack, wide with unadulterated fear. You grit your teeth, the metallic taste of adrenaline in your mouth. You have no sidearm, only the heavy wrench, a crude weapon against a foe that seems to command the very ships around you. But the sight of that crack, that emerald light, ignites a fierce, burning anger within you, a primal, human refusal to surrender. You push Anya behind a stack of scavenged debris, ignoring the protest of your injured leg, forcing yourself to your feet. You grip the wrench tighter, its cold, solid weight, a small comfort against the overwhelming odds. The crack expands. Slowly, inexorably, the emerald light broadening, revealing glimpses of chitinous forms and glowing alien crystals embedded within the metal outside. They've breached the perimeter. They're here. A new sound, a deep, rhythmic times skulls, vibrates through the cracking bulkhead, stronger than any hum, more insistent than any groan. It feels like a heartbeat, not yours, not human, but the vast ancient heart of the planet itself, now actively participating in your demise. Humanity came to this planet, this parking lot, thinking it could tame it, use it, ignore it. And now the planet is answering back, using humanity's own tools against it. You stand before the widening crack, the emerald light searing your eyes, the chittering growing louder. more triumphant. You take a deep, shaky breath, the metallic taste of grit and adrenaline in your mouth. This isn't a battle for survival anymore. This is a battle for a single breach, a single point of entry,